Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nick Eddy from Old School Racing. Old School Racing is just a place that I call my shop. All right, I got a lot of old school stuff. I'm a carburetor guy, a small block guy, big block guy. So I was on a website about a year ago, and I've always liked the Vortec motors. To me, the machine quality is a lot better. The way they look, I like the way they're machined. They don't leak oil as bad. I always thought it was a better block. A lot of guys my age and the generation ahead of me never liked them because they said they was thinner. Well, I was on a website and somebody had asked, what does SGI mean? So that led me to this investigation of what it means. All right, so SGI is Spherical Graphite Iron, which in short is ductile iron. All right, so ductile iron is way stronger than gray iron, which is what most blocks are made out of. So I got doing some research. I actually bought a Summit block that had nodular iron caps. Ductile iron, nodular iron, basically the same thing. So I got thinking, if that Vortec block, which is an 880 or a 638, if it's all nodular iron, why wouldn't I just use that complete block? So what I've done is I've took and talked to a machinist into machining this thing into a 400 bore, which is 4125. He kind of thought I was crazy, but once I got to explaining, the metal part is different than a gray iron, and it's way stronger. So he said he would. I paid him, and I told him I'd pay him if it didn't turn out. So I want to take you guys down this path of where I've come from with this block, because a lot of you guys out there want an aftermarket block, just as I did, but the way things are in the economy and a lot of people's budgets, you can't really afford one. And if this, once you see where we go with this thing, you're going to be believers, because it holds up. Now, this ain't the block that I bored. This ain't the one we've used, but I want to basically show you guys what I started with, why I come up with this, and why I went down this path. So I'm going to have to get my glasses out. I got some notes. So why SGI matters in your bore. Gray cast iron, standard 350 block, has graphite flakes, okay? When cracks start, it don't stop, all right? So the spherical graphite, when they pour the magnesium in the pour when they're casting it, all right, so it turns the nodules into circulars, which makes the block stronger. So therefore, if it does try to crack or was to crack, it wouldn't have nowhere to go or no place to follow. In other words, it don't spread like a normal crack in a gray iron block would. They can handle a spherical graphite can handle way more cylinder pressures, like turbo applications, and that's why they use these things in diesel applications. Most guys think iron block is an iron block. Truth is, GM slipped some of these SGI castings into the lineup, and they are way tougher than any gray iron block. That's why I can bore this 5.7 out to a 400 without cracking in half. Gray iron would never live. This is why some blocks are legends and some are cores. So, the moral of the story is, all of us have looked over this block. A lot of the older guys, including some in my family and some of my friends, they would never use them because they said they was too thin. They would never hold up. The truth is, they don't have to be thick. At 2 millimeters, this stuff can take 70 to 120,000 PSI per square inch. All right, so that's, if my math is right, or if my conversion chart's right, around 5/16, maybe a little more of an inch of a cylinder wall. So there should be no problem me boring this block what I done. All right, so I just wanted to share this knowledge with you guys to let you know what the capabilities was, or what the options are out there. This is my first video. I'm super nervous. You guys are all gonna laugh me off the stage, or you're gonna be like, maybe this guy's on something. Because we all know ductile iron is a superior iron. That's why a lot of us that don't use the cast crank will get a cast steel crank. All right, the cast steel crank is made of the same stuff the block is. So why would you buy an aftermarket gray iron block that's just, it's thicker and it might hold up. It may be designed a little bit different so you can bore it a little bit more, or you can take the GM block that's a superior iron and bore it to a 400 and it live and not run hot, because these things are more acceptable to vibration, temperature. It makes sense to me. So let me know what you guys think, what your thoughts are. Mike has nothing to do with this video. It's just a shirt that I had on today. I'm a fan. I love the 55. But maybe you guys will, can do the same thing that I've done, and, make your block whatever you want it to be. And I just done this by researching, what SGI is. What does a block do? I'll put some links in below the video, so you can see what I seen. And then there's even a video that shows you them pouring and making one of these blocks or ductile iron. When they pour the magnesium in, or pour the cast in the magnesium, and it's just a small amount, it basically explodes. I mean, it's just like, and it's taking all the air out of the cast, which taking all the voids out, making it stronger. It's turning those graphite nodules into instead of flakes. So when a gray iron block is poured, who's to say the flakes don't all mix up? They might end up in the bottom or in the side or in a pocket, who knows? But I hope you guys get something out of this. This is gonna be a series, so I'm gonna dyno this motor, or maybe I already have. Maybe it's in the truck running. It's just something you're gonna have to stick around and watch. And I'm sorry for the gunshots. It's basically hunting season in Alabama. But I hope you guys get something out of it, and maybe this helps you on your budget, because you can go find these blocks in a junkyard pretty plentiful. And that's another thing I was going to mention. So 88 to 98, the Chevrolet pickups, we all know they're either running or they're parted out. All right. And to me, GM perfected the small block Chevrolet, because a lot of those trucks are still on the road today. And the reason is because the graphite in this block is self-lubricating. And I've seen these trucks with anywhere from 250, 300, 400, 500,000 miles on them, and I'm still running if they're maintained. I ain't talking about the guy that don't ever change his oil or change his air filter or nothing like that. But if they're maintained, these things will basically run forever. But to me, that's why they quit. To me, they perfected this block. They perfected that engine. Yeah, they had some problems. They had some bearing problems, but that wasn't the block's fault. But to me, they perfected this thing, and some of them are still running today. But 350, 5.7 to 6.6, or 377 or 400. All right, so you can bore it and you can put a 400 crank in it, or you can just bore it and make you a 377. I think there's not a lot of limits on this thing. You might have to do some clearancing, but a lot of people don't know that this block was also used in the marine application, or as a marine engine. And they was 383 supercharged motors, which was a 6.2, I think they called it, but they made them in supercharged. So when you put a 383 crank in one of these blocks, 9 times out of 10, you don't have to clearance the block because it's already clearanced, because they used them for 377s. So there's a lot of secrets to this motor that nobody knew, and still don't know. A lot of the machinists that I've talked to don't know the difference, and they know they machine differently. They machine cleaner, easier, but they don't know that they're made of a different metal, which blows my mind. You know, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. A lot of people just think iron's iron. I did, you know. I know there's different classes of it, and I know everybody's gonna be like, well, you got different grades of cast iron, or this severe or nodular iron. You might as well call it nodular iron. I took that into account too. I've been super nervous about posting this video because I know there's going to be, well, you can't do this. What about this? What about that? But at its cheapest pour, which is the USA pour, it's still 70 to 90,000 PSI per square inch it'll take. I got test records, and it's pretty easy to find if you look online. If you guys want to see that, hey, I'll provide it. I'll do another video with that in it. I'm gonna put some pictures in this video that shows those parts of the video. I think it's pretty amazing stuff. I think it's pretty neat, and I think a lot of the guys that can't go out and spend $2 grand or $3 grand on an aftermarket block will take one of these blocks to the machine shop, and they're gonna say, bore this thing to a 400. And your machinist is gonna look at you like, are you crazy? And then you're gonna have to explain to him why you can bore it, you know. But once the other videos drop, I think you all are gonna believe, you know, what I've the secret I've let you in on today. We've all tripped and and fell over these things and pushed them out of the way for years. And that 0010 block that everybody loves, guess what? It's just a gray iron block. There's nothing special about it. I don't care about the nickel content. I don't care about, you know, whatever. It is a gray iron block, which will accept about 3,000 pounds. You're pushing it at 3,000 pounds per square inch. That thing can fly apart at any time. I know there's motors out there that have stood the test of time, that have been turned and been bored. I don't see a lot of core shift. I got 6 of these motors. I've stacked them up before I've done this video, because I felt like once I've done this video, and if it does gain some traction and get out there, these things are going to skyrocket, and then you ain't gonna be able to find them. So I did stack me some up in case I needed them. But that's all I got, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope it's going to take you down a road of research like it did me. But I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that it opens up your avenues of bigger cubic inch or whatever you want to do in that market. But y'all have a good afternoon.